Nate G219 here to help it back and better. Y'all know what it is. Another one coming at y'all. First, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if y'all want to help out. Today is June 27th. It's about 5:15, about maybe 5:20 in the morning. Just doing a quick one before I get to work. So last weekend, as you guys know, I had quite an adventure. I'm trying to piece in my mind together what I'm going to say about this, and the the woman that I had met, I'm not going to say her name because she's tied in quite deep with my buddy Cletus's case. She's not involved in the case by any means, but she is the sister of one of the victims of the man that my boy killed. And I also learned a lot of other things about one of the guys, well, the guy that turned my buddy in, the one that provided the weapon, the one that bought the concrete, the one that devised this plan, the one that manipulated the 18-year-old damaged kid. I'd found out that his only motive was not that paper. He had also been assaulted in the SA manner by his own father when he was a child. So when you've been a victim and you come across a person that victimizes another child, your hate towards those people and your anger is, oh man, just I can't describe it because it's a boiling point, like snap at any moment. I have a very hard time talking about what had happened to me because I'd never gotten any closure with it. I never admitted it until I was in my 30s. So 25, 27 years later was maybe even longer than that was the first time I had said something. For you youngsters out there coming up, man, if something has happened to you, don't take the road that so many of us have taken. The road down addiction, the road to blank that crap out is not a great road. That road takes you to prison. That road takes you places that you don't want to go. There's a whole bunch of roads to drive down. There's only a few of them going to the right place. So many roads lead to one place. That's prison or death. So many roads. You could take a left, you could take a right, but you got to take that one road, one wrong turn. You're in prison. And I'm just thinking about, what would my life have been had I never been victimized? Had I not had this thought about that doctor in my head for my whole life now? All but the, 3 or 4 years prior to that moment that I remember. I mean, that's one of my first memories. And yeah, so long ago, could have been 38, 39 years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd never spoken about it to my parents or anything. And when I did, there was a little like disbelief maybe, but that doesn't matter because I know what happened. I know I didn't speak about it. I should have then. I didn't know anything about that stuff because back in the 80s, that stuff wasn't just happening like like it is nowadays. It's not nowadays it's everywhere. Back then it was not. Well, it wasn't talked about. It wasn't exposed, and those that had done it were it's hard to prove. Like the guy that got me was a doctor. He, I'm I'm not going to get into the details, but I mean, I just distinctly remember it. And the only time I recall that I didn't didn't remember it was when I was deep into the drug addiction. My boy Tommy, he told you like he got so engulfed into the drug addiction that it just consumed his whole life. He ended up in jail. He's um, had a lot of trouble growing up. Now, my boy Cleatus, he took one of them sickos out of this earth. He put that sicko in a slab of concrete where he belonged. But unfortunately, the state of Indiana wouldn't even let him use the fact that the man had victimized these children and done these horrible things. They wouldn't let my boy use that as a defense because there was a little bit of money stolen. But that was the motive, 100%. Now I learned the guy that manipulated my buddy Cletus, Thomas Forbes, T.J. Forbes. I I found out he was also a victim. He was victimized by his own father when he was a child, and that was a shock to me. I thought his only motive was money, but still, regardless, he made this plan. He devised this very intelligent plan, and got my buddy Cletus to squeeze that trigger, and now we're on the fight to get Cletus out of prison. Forbes has been home since 2017. I don't know why they let him out when Cletus was the one that was used as a tool that was manipulated, and it was very, very clear and cut. There was no doubt in the cops or prosecution's mind that that was what happened, but they dismissed the charges against the victim who had SA'd 3 young boys at that point in time, at least, that we know about. This man was a private investigator. Robert Nolan was the man's name. He was a private investigator in Portage. He had his office directly across the street from 2 schools, Ellsworth Elementary School and Willow Creek Middle School. He was he was a wrestling coach at Plymouth school in Plymouth, Liberty School. I don't remember the school's name, but there was a complaint a year or two prior to that about him being too friendly with the boys. At least that's what the counselors had thought, and they didn't have him come back to coach wrestling the following year. They didn't have any complaints or any reports of him having done anything, but you know, the the few that I know about tells me that there has been plenty of others. This man was all over the place. He traveled a lot. He had a lot of money. He would let the boys come in and party, taking or preying on the financially unstable. He would target those in need, families that were poor. He was a very, very sick man, and the only cure for that is, cut the head off. Cut the head off that snake. It's the only way to kill him. Get rid of him. I mean, it's the only way to stop him. I believe. So, in my eyes, and many other people's eyes, Cleatus Furlong is a damn hero. They've got the Alaskan Avenger. This man was the Indiana Avenger. No, he didn't go seeking out specific people that had done such crimes, but he found out about one that had done it to numerous children. One, one one of the people that was his good friend, not in the paperwork, believed to be a victim. All I know is that when Paul showed up at at that house that day, his best friend was moving out, and he wasn't speaking, and he was hurt. He was mentally, emotionally, not physical. I don't know, but when Paul got there, Cleatus, I'm sorry, everybody knows him as Cleatus. I know him as Paul. He hated that name growing up, but it's a Roman warrior spelling, and he he's owned the name, and he loves his name now. So it's just going to be hard for me to get used to calling the man Cleatus that I've known as Paul for so long. So Cleatus and Paul are the same person. Robert Nolan, Bob Nolan. That's the one that they killed. Um, that's the one that touched all the children. I've got the paperwork to prove it. Now, they would have been able to use, or Paul would have been able to use this situation of him touching children as a motive, but the state didn't allow that because the state dismissed the cases of uh, CM touching the kids. They dismissed the case. I believe Paul was arrested June 1st. They uh, dismissed Bob Nolan's case on the 3rd. And that just made it to where they couldn't use that as motive when there's more than enough proof along with his own admission. So, guys, all I'm asking for is just some help to sign this petition, pass this petition around. That's my goal, is getting Paul some help legally. Um, I mean, his hearing has already, or his clemency hearing has already happened. We're waiting for the decision of the governor, and you know that's not always. No matter how things sound, no matter how things look, that's not always enough. So all I'm asking you to do is take a few seconds out of your day and sign the attached petition. That would help a lot. It goes directly to the Indiana Parole Board, and that the more signatures, the better off we are. Cletus has not been in any trouble whatsoever in 15 years, roughly, and he deserves the shot to get into court. TJ Forbes been home since 2018, and the judge just it's a very unfair situation. I know Forbes didn't pull that trigger, but he might as well have. And he was also sentenced just the same as Paul. So he's been given some special treatment because he's got a little more money. He's got a his mom was still around. His mom was unfortunately at the time of passing, but the judge let him out because of that. You know, Paul's mom passed, and judge won't even blink an eye, and the prosecutor said he'll never get a sentence modification. He'll never get out early. Right now, his earliest possible release date, I believe, still says 2033. No, we need that man home sooner than that. He's beyond ready. We got places for him to work, live, and hell, he can jump on this YouTube. I know he'll make a career on that. He's well spoken, well educated. He's passed his paralegal with a 98%. This man's ready to come home. I just need you guys to help. But hey, never forget life's choices. Don't, because like I said, there's so many roads that all go to one place. So if you take that one wrong turn, you end up in prison. But hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. It's Nate G219 signing out. Hey, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it. Peace.